Good evening. We'll call the City of Norwich Zoning Board of Appeals for March 11th. Call the meeting to order. 7:02. Roll call. Dave Martin. Present. Ed Aberbach. Here. Bob Phoenix. Present. Dottie Travers.
Present.
Mark Benjamin present. Richard Shutt, Catherine Rose, staff present. We do have a quorum. All five will be voting members tonight. Communications. Acceptance of the minutes from February 11th.
Phoenix, motion to accept the minutes as written. Declaring.
I'll second that. Any comments, concerns? No? Hearing none. All those in favor to accept as presented?
Phoenix, aye.
Dottie, aye.
Dave, aye. Ed Aberbach, aye. Mark Benjamin, aye. Minutes accepted as presented. Old business? None, correct. New business. Application V 25-239, Mohegan Park Road. Request relief from zoning regulation section 1.1 to reduce the front yard setback from 30 feet to 20 feet for the construction of a 20 by 33 two-story garage addition. Request for relief from zoning regulation 6.7 to increase from 30% of the principal dwelling to 41.7 to allow for a 588 square foot accessory apartment, or 408.6 square feet is allowed. Property of Anita S. Andrews, application in. We got a spelling error. Anisha Andrews, assessors map 86, block 1, lot 52, R20 zone.
The exhibits in. We can pass all those like papers.
Oh, you have mine, okay.
Okay, exhibits. Exhibit 1, variance application. 2 is the field card. 3 is the legal notice. 4 is the abutters letter. 5 is the abutters list. 6 is the abutters map. 7 is the site sketch. 8 is the elevation views. And 9 is the floor plans.
Could the applicant please come up, make yourself comfortable, introduce yourself. You need your name and address for the record, what you'd like to do, and why you need a variance to do it.
I'm Anita Andrews, 39 Mohegan Park Road, Norwich. I'm trying to, my mom is 83 years old. She's no longer able to live at her current residence right now. She's having a lot of medical issues. So I want to do a 2-car garage and do apartment on top. So I can connect it to my house. So that way I'll be able to take care of it.
You presently don't have a 2-car garage?
No, I do not.
Okay. Are you familiar with the definition of a hardship? Did Rich explain to you?
Yeah.
And could you, for the record, explain what your hardship is that's particular to this property and not necessarily the resident or the final use of it?
Okay. The setback, we have a pool that is been there for 20 some years, and we also have a stone wall. So we cannot go all the way back unless we remove the pool and the stone wall.
Okay.
And the house also, the way it was built, with that the setback all the way down.
So I'm guessing if there's a stone wall, there's a grade. Is the stone wall like holding a hill back or something?
Yeah, it has like if our house is over here, the stone wall is right in the side of it, and then the back also, we have a small one with the pool in that.
Okay. Maybe we don't put the picture back up.
Yeah.
There we go.
basically you wanna come out where that white addition is now
Right,
and, put the garage over where two cars would be. You know, you see one car right now, you want to
Right.
have two cars there.
right, right.
The walkway and you wanna have basically a little hallway between the new construction and, the existing house.
Correct.
Would that be the white structure that I see in that building?
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be right here
Yeah,
on the site plan.
I'm gonna ask, even more basic question. This is a R20 zone at the moment. Is that allowed for apartments?
With a special permit, so there's two variances. One is the setback to build the garage,
Right.
and then the other variance is the square footage. For the accessory apartment, which would allow them to utilize all the floor area of that garage. Because the regulation says 30%, maximum of 30% of the house, or 900 square feet, whichever is smaller. So based on the square footage of the house, they would only be allowed a 408 square foot accessory apartment. So they would requested the variance for that additional square footage
Mhm.
above the garage.
and with that, because, most likely right now she moving, but not, well, we might have to have a wheelchair later on.
Mhm.
So it'd be easy to go through instead, kind of squeeze ourselves between the furniture and all that.
Mhm.
Can you bring up the site showing the garage again? With the car parking garage, the parking lot.
Yeah, that's the GIS.
Okay. Would the garage end about where that pink dot is, or is that? How far this way would the garage be coming?
I believe with the pink, the,
Okay.
yeah, it's right there.
I think it's done.
I think you only got,
That's roughly.
yeah, by the fence.
Yeah, those are 8-foot sections.
We have 33 feet here
Okay.
plus the connector.
But the connector's already showing in that picture, right?
No, 33 feet plus a connector. It's like a connector hallway in between the two. It's not right up.
Oh, okay, so it's not, okay.
Yeah.
Can you go back and get those, Rich?
Yep.
Do you have any drawings showing the finish elevation of the garage? Because I'm just looking,
So see the connector here is elevated.
that you understand what my question is?
Yeah, we went through all of that with the design.
Okay, because I just wanted to try to visualize how much higher than the house the garage would be. Because although it's 2 stories with the grade going down,
Mhm.
I don't think it's gonna sit 2 stories above the house.
Correct.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because you got
yeah,
this.
you're right. I didn't pick up on that. Because there's a difference in grade between where the cars are parked and.
There's like 40 inches with those stairs,
Yeah,
then it's sloping down. And if you pictured the top of the garage door, maybe a little taller than the fence, maybe a foot or 2 higher than the fence, and then you got a floor. On top of that, the picture of the garage looks massive.
Yeah.
But if you perspect it to the house, it might not be as big.
Yep.
Am I on track or am I?
Yes, because when we were going through her application and the designer was sending the pictures originally, they were gonna put this on grade, and what they had originally desired was to walk straight out of this room into the second floor.
Okay,
But it's a higher elevation. They would have had to sink the garage 3 feet into the ground. So really, the garage as they're presenting it is 3 feet higher than the house. Roughly.
3 feet, but not 8.
Correct. Not
Okay.
a full story.
Okay, yeah, I can, if everybody's seeing that.
yeah,
Right.
the roof lines aren't dramatically different.
Correct. Right, and that was, when I look at this photo, exhibit H, I was concerned. But then with the lot sloping off, I'm far less concerned.
So this roof that's shown here.
Yeah.
Is that a continuation of that room?
That's the connector from that room to the second one.
Okay, so how much higher is that?
So that roof is approximately the same height as this roof.
Okay,
And then you've got the additional, so it's not gonna be, higher than this peak.
I see. So the connector roof is about the same height as the white addition.
that's okay.
Yeah,
Right, the connector is.
yeah, okay.
I ran away with this one for a minute, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave?
Not right now.
No, I was kind of questioning the square footage, but it's on, it's 586. What they were, around mother's son,
No, it's close to 1,000, isn't it?
I looked at that. Mother's son,
588,
yeah, 588.
and they're allowed 408. Yeah, okay.
I'm okay with that.
Bob?
Okay, yeah, Rich, is this property already non-conforming by the proximity of the front door to the front of the property?
Correct.
Yeah.
That front door is only 8 feet off the front property.
Right.
Existing.
So, what is the setback in that zone?
What do we got, 30 feet?
Is it 30? So the whole house is.
Yeah, the whole
basically
house
in
is
the-
over there.
okay,
Basically, the whole house is,
setback.
yeah,
Yeah, 30 feet is the front yard.
yeah. Is this one of these deals where the zone was changed later on, but the setback was changed later?
No, it's till 1955.
Yeah.
Yeah, zoning came into place after the house was built.
Right, so, my last question would be, will the granting of this variance, I don't want to say correct, the non-conforming, but it will excuse the non-conformity, is that right?
Correct.
So,
Yeah,
so we're working on that angle as well.
Yeah.
Just for the garage,
just for the garage, yeah.
and the garage and the connector,
Oh,
not for the house. The house is already grandfathered.
Yeah, you can see here this 30 foot, that's to the back of basically where the garage is going.
What's the setback?
That's the setback here,
supposed to be?
30 feet.
Wow.
In the back of the house, I mean, if you
Yeah.
carry this line over, the whole house is in front of it.
that's all I got.
Have you considered moving the whole garage back further to make it a little less?
We have a pool here,
Cool.
and my husband and I, we adopted 3 little girls last year,
Wow.
and they love that pool.
Oh, sure.
If it was for me, the pool would be gone. I don't have no say. But they spend all afternoon there. That's the place.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. That answers that question.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I'm trying to have a nice place for my mom to be close to us. And that's one of the case I got.
Your statement. All right, so we're gonna ask other people if they want to speak for it.
Okay,
Then we're gonna ask people if they want to speak against it.
okay,
And then we'll offer you the opportunity to speak again.
okay.
All right? So is there anyone else to speak in favor of this appeal? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor? Hearing none. Is there anyone to speak in opposition? Any opposition? Any opposition? Hearing none. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Because once we close this, we can't take any additional testimony.
No, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for the applicant before we ask for a motion?
Motion to close?
Get a second?
Oh, I'll second it.
Been made, Bob, and seconded Dottie. All those in favor to close?
Aye.
Mark, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I don't know if you're familiar, we're gonna hear all four of them, and then we're gonna move on to vote on these.
Okay.
So if you want to stick around, you could hear potentially tonight. If
Okay.
not, you can call tomorrow and find out from
Okay.
Rich. Application V 499 East Main Street, request relief from zoning regulation 6.4.6.1 to reduce the required landscape buffer for a multifamily development from 15 feet to 0 feet on the east and west boundaries. 2, request relief from zoning regulation 6.4.1 to reduce minimum distance between buildings for 30 feet to 6 feet. 3, relief from section 4.8.5 to allow structural alterations to a non-conforming building to exceed 50% of its assessed value. Properties of Southeastern Properties LLP, application of Mount Longo, assessors map 103, block 4, lots 33, 34 in the multifamily zone.
Packages here. Okay.
Yeah, and pass it right down and keep one.
Yeah, I pass it right down.
Switch it up on you. Yes. There you go. Please. The whole package, I believe. Each one's a package?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing down?
More?
Yeah, that's the new one down. They're all
Yeah,
separate.
yeah, it's a whole package.
Okay, yeah. Keep that one down. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Does everybody have one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, exhibit list. Variance app is 1, number 2 is the field card, 3 is the H2 of the field card. 4 is the legal notice, 5 is the East Main Street of Butters letter, 6 is the East Main Street of Butters list, 7 is the Butters map, 8 is the survey, and 9 is the site plan. And I actually also just passed out to you, in addition to what's on this list, I passed out the building plans, which came in yesterday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You good?
Good.
All right, the applicant, name and address for the record, what you'd like to do and why you need a variance to do it.
My name is Matthew Longo, with Southeastern Connecticut Properties. There's 2 properties here, 495 and 499 East Main Street. These 2 properties have been vacant for a long time. I guess at one time they were commercial use, so our goal is to redevelop them to apartment complexes. Gonna be 9 units total. Excuse me. Our goal is to keep the existing footprint of one of the buildings. The other building, I believe is 495. That one there, we're gonna do a slight variant, make it just a little bit bigger to accommodate the 5th unit. Right now, they're 2 parcels with 2 separate deeds. We purchased both of them as a package deal. Our goal is to merge them to make 1 parcel and 1 property out of that. By doing so, we had a survey. They came in and they did individual survey for 499. They did a survey for 495, and then we did a survey to merge them together as 1 parcel. So again, there are 2 buildings on each one of those on the 2 properties themselves. And we're just trying to utilize the the footprint of the two properties ourselves to build on. Downtown Norwich is, it's tight, right? You know, they built things everywhere on top of each other where they could, and we're just trying to utilize that footprint and, redevelop it. Unfortunately, we're having some setbacks with the property to our left, and the two buildings that are there are, about 6 feet apart from one another. So our end goal is to make, 9 units total.
Our discussion, basically, your concern, the reason you're in front of us is not necessarily for the 9 apartments, it's for the fact.
Correct, the setbacks.
Buffers
100%. Correct,
affecting existing buildings.
exactly.
You know,
Yes.
you're not trying to build to zero,
Correct,
you have a house that's at zero.
100%.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And the two buildings that are there, 499 and 495, the distance between them, again, is only about 6 feet.
Okay.
Where's that? Can you, I'm losing that.
You want to see the
The
street
6
view?
feet, the 6 feet that he's talking.
Oh, the 6 feet, right?
Correct. So
Right.
499, it used to be an old garage, and 495 was an old pizza joint. And you can see that there's only a 6-foot gap between the two.
Okay, so, I see the 6 foot, walkway,
Correct.
but that existing, approved, that. it looks like-
Okay,
Looks like it's more than 6 feet.
want me to explain this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
So this right here, this existing building, 495 East
Yeah,
Main Street, there is also a variance, this hash mark area here.
Yeah,
There was a variance given to this property for an addition on that building.
oh, okay.
So
That
that
was never-
variance, it hasn't been constructed, but the
Oh,
variance is
okay.
on file, so
Yeah.
it's valid.
Okay,
Mr. Longo could create this as a separate piece of property and put that addition on.
Yeah.
But because we're changing of use to the multi-family
Yeah.
development,
Mhm.
the requirement is 30 feet between buildings, which only has a 6-foot wide sidewalk running between the two.
mhm. Even though it's not 6 feet, if you look at it today.
Today, today, honestly, it's probably more like
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe 8 to 10
Yeah,
max.
yeah. Okay, that's what threw me.
Yeah, yeah. So, and from the, I don't know if you could bring up the GIS or the street view, it's always easier to kind of put eyes on it that way.
Yeah, I took a ride by for a while now. Yeah.
So these,
Yeah,
these are if this is.
this is existing, yeah. Yeah, and this is a really, as I remember, in my opinion, the east of Main Street, the road right there, has nothing to do with, I think, that this variance, that's a really tough spot in terms of traffic.
It is, because
Right at the
there's
beginning of Main
there's a
Street.
light right there.
Yeah, there's
Right.
a light right there.
So what's nice is there's this parking here, which can be kind of like overflow, but to the right of that other building, that's the main entrance right there.
Yeah.
So we're back from that light, maybe
Yeah.
50 feet, 100 feet, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So traffic coming in and out isn't directly at the light, it's back ways.
Yeah, Richard was up that way,
Correct.
and what is it, 165, I think? Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
The tough spot.
It is.
Traffic.
It is. There's a lot of traffic there.
If these are existing buildings or an existing variance for building, why do we need to redo these? What am I missing?
So he needs to get a site plan approval from the commission for multifamily development, because it's a change of use from the previous automotive repair or alternator repair shop that was in the larger building here.
Okay,
And then the smaller building was a restaurant. So it's being converted to a residential multifamily site, and he's gonna merge both properties together, so it'll have 9 total units. And more than 3 or more units requires commission approval. So then he needs the variances where he doesn't comply with the multifamily development. It's a permitted use in the zone, but the 6 foot doesn't comply because the regulations requires 30 feet between buildings,
Okay,
and it requires the buffer. And with this site, he's got no chance of putting a 15-foot buffer. This is the existing parking lot edge right here.
okay.
He can't put a 15-foot buffer, that he would cut half his driveway.
Okay. But you could put commercial buildings there without a variance?
Yes,
Am I following that right?
well, they're existing non-conforming commercial buildings now, because
Right.
the zone is multifamily zone. But because the regulations require, as part of multifamily development, that he have that buffer,
Okay,
that's why we have to. And there's no feasible way to put that buffer on this lot,
The buffer would be on the bottom here,
both sides.
Both sides.
both sides.
So even with their approval tonight, still has to go to the commission on the city plan?
Correct.
This is like step one. It's a tight spot.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it is a-
Yeah.
In terms of traffic on the road, going in and out of the driveway.
Well, that and, you know, the property that is 491 that's to the right.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the property line is, and I mean, we're gonna do a fence there, but the property line is right against that property line,
Yeah.
right where the parking lot is. And on the left side, on the 503, on the left side, that property line right there, it's almost touching, it's, you know, right there. So I mean, there's just, when they built these back in the day, they basically it's on top of each other. So we're just trying to utilize the footprint that's existing and redevelop this area.
The city might want to put in another traffic light.
That's actually the state, because it's been through the state.
Well, okay, but still, I mean, I could see that concern.
But I know, you know, the first issue, first hurdle, so
I
to speak,
understand.
yeah, that we have to tackle is the 15-foot setbacks on both the left and right. And I know the distance between the two buildings.
David, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
no, I'm just still trying to,
Rationalize why it could be commercial.
but it's multifamily,
And they want, it could remain commercial
because
and not be in front of us, because it was commercial.
right, but it's actually zoned multifamily. Is that, do I got that?
Yeah.
The zone, the underlying zone is multifamily zone.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if they were starting fresh, they couldn't put commercial there.
Correct.
So so you could allow non-conforming stuff in that footprint. in that-
Yes, so
But to conform to the property, you couldn't put in that footprint. You got,
in the existing footprint to convert it to multifamily,
Right.
correct.
you understand, it's
Yeah.
making my head hurt.
And if anybody wanted to change the use of the property, so let's say the small building, the restaurant,
Right,
somebody wanted to change that use from a restaurant to a retail store. It would be a change of use and require a special permit from the commission to change from one non-conforming use to another. So non-conforming uses are very troublesome.
Missed them, I read it, and I missed that part. The multifamily, you know, that went over my head. So that's a good catch. So,
I didn't catch that, I took me a while
okay,
to wrap my head.
so we could build it, we could build multifamily there, but we'd have to follow the regulations, but because we're commercial and want to be multifamily, we need a bunch of variances to bring it back.
Correct.
And all this land, this is a weird lot, but all this land back up in here, that's just What is that? That's just.
Right now, it's just vacant land.
vacant land.
I think it's about 2 acres total, 2.5.
Yeah.
There's a pretty steep hill in the back
Right,
of,
going up here.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, yep, yep. I mean, it's ledge, I mean, the elevation is pretty significant,
So bottom line, there's nothing really, there's nothing back in here.
it's just raw land. I mean, but it goes up, so very significantly to it, so it's ledge, it's rock, it's.
Yeah.
Is it usable down the road? Possibly, I don't know,
But construction
100%,
to make that.
yes,
Presently, you don't have any plans for that?
not now, no. And, you know, eventually, I'd like to develop it, I mean, we have, and this is irrelevant, but behind that, there's 2 more lots that butt up to it off of Hammond Ave, that's, I think, 8 acres. So,
Okay.
as a long-term project, possibly do something with that, but again, it's all raw land, it's all, I haven't walked it yet, but I think it's all just a cliff.
With access off here?
100%, yeah, off
Okay.
Hammond, yep.
Dave, continue on.
Could you put anything, if you were just starting from a fresh?
Yeah, if somebody was to start fresh, I mean, they could design it to meet the regulations and probably fit something in there very tightly. You know, if you got a 15-foot buffer on each side, that takes 30 foot of your lot width away. But this is to kind of repurpose the existing buildings.
Okay.
Mhm.
Only because Rich just said it. Realistically, how much are we repurposing?
All of it.
Okay, all right, it's not the classic, we're gonna save one wall, knock it all down and start over?
Well, so the 499, that building, that footprint isn't changing. There's no
Okay.
addition on that, so that footprint is 100% staying the
That's the
same.
bigger one.
That's, yes, so, yep,
This one.
Yeah.
that was an old garage. I don't know exactly what they did there, but that footprint's not changing. The 495 building, I think at one point was a pizza joint.
Yep.
That is getting an addition.
Right.
To go back. Yep. And that's going towards the back of the property, it's going towards the back of the property and towards the other building, which decreases that distance between them from maybe 10 currently to the 6 foot.
But these are single stories?
It will be, yes.
Okay.
And this building here on the north, this back area, the front area is a shaded building.
Mhm.
This is just a slab. And he's not expanding onto that slab.
Yeah, you're not gonna do anything with that slab at the moment,
Not at all. No.
in the future?
No, I think it's gonna be more of a, I don't call it a hangout, but an area for the community, for the 9 units to utilize, if they wanted to have a picnic back there, you know, outdoor activities or what have you, because it's already there and we don't have a use for it, so.
Dottie?
Well, I was looking at the parking area, but actually he would need two parking areas for each unit, correct? So you'd have to come up with 18. I know the city plan has to. But
Yes, so
that's what I saw at the beginning. I saw the parking was about 10 of them on there. I
Yeah.
believe.
yeah, so it does comply to what his floor plans are for the number of bedrooms. His total parking does comply.
It does
Yeah.
comply.
Oh, no, that goes by bedrooms.
Rule of thumb is generally it's two per apartment,
Right.
but a 1 bedroom apartment is 3/4 of the space. So when you get to the mathematical multiples of multiple 1 bedroom apartments, and a 2 bedroom is only 1.5 spaces.
How weird.
So it's a mathematical equation to figure out
Yeah,
parking.
really weird. That's really weird.
Oh, so they
Easy rule of thumb is to say 2 per
Yeah.
unit.
Took me some time to wrap my head around that as well. Correct.
All 9 of these are 1 bedroom or some are 2 bedroom?
So out of the 9, there'll be 7 one-bedroom,
Okay.
and 2 two-bedroom.
Certainly makes it appealing on the school board side.
Yes and no.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I honestly, my biggest concern out of all this is the road and the access in and out of that horrendous intersection.
The main entrance isn't so bad, the primary one to the right of 495.
And
The 499 one is right at the stoplight. Um, But that's more overflow. I think we have one handicap, we have one handicap parking spot up there and one regular one.
right,
But majority of the parking is the one on the right, which sets back off the street light a good amount.
What is your square footage per apartment?
The two, don't quote me, 'cause I don't have it in front of me, the 2 bedroom, I think are 600 of the bigger building. The 1 bedrooms are gonna be between 450 and 500, I believe.
Was there any feedback from your butters at all?
No.
You got that one guy. at the Very top.
And I have frequented both those businesses in the past, when they were businesses.
Yeah,
And even the closer one, although it was difficult, I got out of there and then out of there with a plow truck,
Yeah.
because I went in there for alternator repair work.
okay.
I
started an alternator.
Yeah,
Is that the one?
yeah,
Okay.
the Sawglow. And
Yeah, I was
then
gonna say, I pulled in and out of there. so-
right, and the other one, the Pizza House, I grew up on the east side, so I
Okay,
went there.
good to hear.
But, also in my other career, it is a dangerous intersection. It's a tough intersection.
It's a tough one.
There's no doubting that it's a tough intersection and people fly to make the light.
Yeah,
So, I mean, your concerns are valid.
But we're not increasing any traffic. Right. Other than what would be there for commercial business.
so we're increasing it with another 10 cars here for 10 apartments, right?
Nine.
So that's,
So 9.
No, we're not increasing theoretically
It's not traffic.
any traffic
Yeah,
flow
yeah.
because the cars are gonna be staying there instead of businesses coming in.
Right.
And it's the same amount of parking area.
Sagalo generated no more than 9 spots on a given day, and the Pizza House did as well.
Where was that pizza house?
I was young.
Yeah. So I got a lot of units here in Norwich, and I can think back that the alternator spot was maybe 8 to 10 years ago, and the pizza joint's been vacant for about 15, if I remember correctly.
And I'm sure there's somebody else in the audience can verify, but before that, I used to get ice there too.
Oh,
If that's the correct
Yeah.
building.
I know it's been vacant for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what might help if you have a road, so I don't know, maybe it's on one way in and one way up to the apartment.
I don't think we have the room for that.
that.
yeah,
Not to create a loop, we wouldn't.
You had to go in one and then go
Yeah, it would
out.
help, but you
Yeah.
don't have that.
I like the idea.
Some of that. Agreed, there's probably not enough room, but some of that could be under the purview of Commissioner of City
Yeah, I
Plan
Yeah.
when they get to it. Bob?
No, I just want to make sure that I've got it clear that we're here listening to this because there are commercial buildings in use on the property at the moment, and we're going to multifamily, which is what the zone is anyway. Correct?
Multifamily is the zone, correct? So that commercial use is non-conforming.
Right.
And to follow up your statement, the higher ups of the city are gonna say we stole commercial property that was potentially investable and turned it into multifamily, where I was alluding to the schools, which cost money.
Yeah.
But it's bedrooms, but it's properly zoned multifamily.
Correct.
So
Okay.
we have a defense, but we're gonna have a fight.
Well, I think, and I don't want to speak for anybody from that building, but I think the sentiment on a lot is changing with the housing crisis and looking for more housing opportunities. And from a zoning official standpoint, anytime I have the opportunity to get rid of nonconformities, I would like to do it, because they just keep perpetually creating problems down the road.
Make sure that statement gets in the records, Kate.
There you go. Yep, otherwise I'm good. Thank you.
Anyone else speak in favor? I'm sorry, was there anything else you'd like to add?
No. Rick,
Anyone else to speak in favor of this appeal? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor?
And make a statement.
I need you to come on up, name and address for the record, please, sir.
City Hall.
Good, how are you taking?
Don't mind if I
All
do.
right, I got you.
I'm the guy that lives behind you. No, you're just talking about, my name is Joe Muscarella, 42 Tanner Avenue. Just you're talking about the traffic, which is a very important thing, but we've lived up there since the 60s when there was ice back there. You're talking about, but the traffic, we live on the end of Tanner Avenue. I come down Ripley, 5-way intersection. So you want to talk about traffic, the state has done nothing.
Yeah.
It does get busy, but it's all manageable. I mean, they'll just have to have patience. I know it was a concern of ours. We went to the state and asked for a light at the bottom of Ripley. At one time, they were interested in doing it, but then they didn't do anything about it. But like I said, we have a 5-way intersection that we try to get out of. And the summertime is probably the worst time. Now the casino doesn't have that parking lot there anymore, so that's pretty easy. But like I say, summertime gets a little crazy, like you're saying, but other than that, it's pretty manageable. I mean, there's about 20 houses up there where we live. You're only talking 9 cars. So we're talking, we have duplex and everything up there, so. But the traffic would be a concern, but it's not that bad. So,
Okay.
all right.
For the record, you're supporting this.
Oh, yeah, it's good for Norwich, bring some more get my taxes down.
Yes, sir. I'm here to help. I appreciate that.
All right, anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor? Hearing none. Is there any opposition? Any opposition? Any opposition? Hearing none. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Longo?
No, thank you.
All right, again, once we close this, we can't take additional testimony,
Yes, sir.
so you're good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Questions?
Questions?
Motion, sorry.
Anybody have any questions? Nope. Now I'll take Bob Phoenix.
Motion closed.
Second,
All those in favor to close?
Aye. Aye.
Dottie, I.
Unanimous. Close.
Thank you.
Again, you can stick around if you want. You don't have to.
Yep.
Application 25-4, 71 Main Street, request relief from zoning regulation 6.5.2 to allow for residential use on the first floor of a mixed-use building for zoning regulation 6.5.5 to allow the square footage of a residential use to exceed the square footage of commercial, allow square footage of the basement to use to calculate the commercial square footage, property 71 Main Street, LLC, application of Martin Wishlock.
I guess
You please correct me for the record.
that was actually pretty good.
Assessors map 102, block 60, block 6, lots 9, central commercial zone. Chelsea, right? These are
Chelsea
all,
Central. Yeah, I got yours.
okay.
Exhibit 1 is the application. Exhibit 2 is the field card. Exhibit 3 is the legal notice. Exhibit 4 is the abutters letter. The abutters list is 5. The abutters map is 6. GIS map of the property is 7, and the Main Street floor plans is 8. And then, in addition to that, the building official and fire marshal gave me just comments.
Okay.
Recently, building official just gave them to me at like 4:35 this afternoon.
All right, so you want to read those into the record or?
Yeah, I'll read the building official's comments from Dan Coley. I've examined the submitted plans and have significant concerns regarding the barn located in the basement. As this represents a new occupancy, it must comply with all codes. The primary challenge is accessibility. The space cannot be accessed from either. There's no accessible bathroom. These plans require approval of a Connecticut licensed architect. Additionally, with the introduction of the A2, a new residential fire sprinkler system or other changes may be necessary in compliance with the energy codes demonstrated on the plans. And his comment was it may be beneficial to consider relocating the lounge to the street level with a residential above it and potentially another unit below, subject to the zoning variance approval. But that was his comment. We're not here to discuss changing what the applicant is presenting.
Okay, you said you had something from the fire marshal as
Yeah.
well?
Just a couple of things. This was in an email I had sent and just asked him to review it and comment accordingly if you have any specific concerns or requirements. I'm not sure if the fire department can reach the windows to the bedrooms. This will have to be evaluated. CT Life Safety Code 24.2.2.2.3.3. The windows shall be directly accessible to the fire department rescue apparatus as approved by the jurisdiction. I'm not sure if the rear bedroom can be reached by the ground ladder if needed. The windows in the alley will also have to be evaluated for ground ladder rescue. The proposed spiral stairway will not fit in the alleyway. I don't see how the bar will work in the location, etc. That was just his comments based on what was submitted.
So that was the fire marshal?
That was a fire
And the
marshal.
first set of comments, who was that from?
The building official.
Building official.
I'll give you a set of those.
And it was in the original discussion that we had with
Huh?
Ken and with the fire marshal anyways.
Yeah, I mean, no discussions
Pretty
go
much aware
way back.
of their concerns.
So that's not a surprise.
No,
Neither one is surprised.
no.
No.
We had previous discussions before we purchased the property. We had a meeting with zoning, with building, with fire. At that time and basically went through everything and they raised all of those concerns.
Mhm.
And they will have to be addressed, obviously, in order to get their approval.
And you have, you know how you're going to address their concern?
There will be the architect. He will have to figure out a way how to make that work. I'm sure there's alternatives to whichever way needs to be done in order to comply with it. Be that ladders, be that, whatever it is. That's, if that cannot be met, then, the purpose of the variance would diminish too,
Right,
because it cannot be built the way that it is.
right.
That's everything, Rich?
That was everything. Correct.
Okay, so if we could have your name address to the board, what you'd like to do, why you need a variance, and what the hardship is.
My name is Martin Wiescherleck, Wiescholak. I'm the property owner together with my wife, Sarah Yusuf. And we own this property through 71 Main Street LLC, it's Florida Corporation, because we currently reside in Florida. That's how we purchased the property. This is supposed to be a residence for us that we want to use. And the bar in the basement is something that that we would operate, or that I would operate mostly together with somebody else. The variance application, just to give you a little bit of a background as to why we're here in the first place. So we're having an issue we don't have an issue with Main Street. Main Street itself is being redeveloped. The idea of having the downtown corridor being redeveloped to keep commercial properties in Main Street, so to make it attractive as not just a residential area, but also a commercial plus commercial area. This whole work, live, play idea that surrounds Main Street. And the properties that are on Main Street, when you drive down Main Street, you see that all of these historic buildings that are on Main Street that make up this core all have retail. They have big picture windows. They're ideal for retail operation on the ground level, on the walkable ground level. Our building 71 used to be a bank. The original property dates back to before 1900. At one point, it was a one-story building. It got, I think, in the 20s, in the mid-20s, it was reconditioned into a two-story building. And when you look at the facade of that building, that facade is significantly different than the rest of Main Street. As I said, the rest of Main Street has those picture windows. This is an old bank building, was operated as a bank, and it has the entrance, and it has two small windows that, when you see them there on the side where the red dots are, those two windows are basically, they're like from an old castle where you would put the
Turret
bow and arrows
windows.
out and shoot people. And that design obviously came from turn of the century bank. They needed to be fortified and not have glass storefronts where people can just break in. So with that, that's where the hardship part actually comes in. With that, we would not be able to make this into a viable space as a commercial operation in terms of the walkability that the city of Norwich would like to achieve over in that section. It's also unique in the sense that when you look to the left of the building, you have a staircase that goes down to Water Street. That's a public staircase that basically connects the two streets. And the basement entrance is right off that staircase. You go down 8 steps and you come to the 8 or 10 steps or something, and you come to the door, which goes straight into the basement.
That's the story here, right?
That would be the story right there, exactly. So that kind of gives us 2 levels as a main level. Off the street, of the stair part of the street, the basement would be the main level. Obviously, of the regular road frontage, it would be the middle part of the building. That would be the main level. The footprint of the building itself is about 900 square feet on each level. The basement is a little bit smaller because it cuts off part of that slope is being cut back. That's why the basement is a tiny bit smaller than the upper levels. Upper levels are about 900. In 2003, that building had an approved variance from the city of Norwich, from this board, where it was deemed appropriate to be a multi-family use on that building. When we purchased the building, the upper floor was divided into 4 or 5 different rooms. There were like all these little teeny tiny small rooms with window air conditionings hanging out of them. And I don't know how they used it. There was only one bathroom up there, but it looked like it was like a multi tenant with a shared bathroom situation that was going on. We have since completely demolished the upper floor. We have taken out pretty much everything in the main level floor. And just to get back to seeing what we have. By looking at it, I cannot make sense of how we could bring commercial storefront into that building. It would require massive amounts of construction, structural work in order to preserve that facade and accomplish basically store glass. That's the hardship part of this whole thing. The idea of the commercial space in the basement is it's an ideal location for a bar. Whenever I'm thinking about a bar, I always have Cheers in my head. I don't know why, but it's like the neighborhood bar. That's kind of that situation where you have to take a few steps down. It's a small space. It's a small bar. It has space for about 30, 35 people. It's not going to be a massive operation. No food, just drinks. That's the idea behind it. The upper levels we want to keep as residential. 900 square foot is not quite enough, especially with the stairs going up that cuts into it. In order to put 2 bedrooms in there, that would be too cramped. That's what we would like to have the 2 levels. And other than that, I cannot see any other commercial use that would fit into the building. That's basically where the hardship part comes in. And to what we are asking today, or what I'm asking from you today, is if you are considering granting the variance, it would be conditional upon obviously final permits. So if we cannot achieve under any circumstances what I'm proposing here to you, that variance would not become in effect. That variance would cancel out.
What would you do? Would you sell it?
We would have to go back to the drawing board. I don't know what we would do with that. I would hope it would not come to that because the building is beautiful. We both love the building. We love the location. But I think for this particular building, that is the proper way how to do it, the proper use something.
So you don't have any access from Water Street? There's no doorway?
There's a building from Water Street. There's actually a pub, Stranger's Pub.
Strange Brew.
Strange Brew, yeah.
Right.
They're right behind us. And you have that little alleyway there, which is halfway. It's a flat alley, and then at the building it starts having the stairs.
Right.
It's the stair with
The peacock.
with the peacock.
Who owns the stairway?
City.
It's, yeah, public access.
No kidding. It's in tough shape.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of simulation. But they're working in the building next door. So they've done massive amounts of work in that building. And I think, as this is finishing up, it's going to get cleaned up a lot better than if you're walking it today, it's in not that great shape.
Is it lit at nighttime?
Yeah, they actually just hung the string lights. And there is floodlights too. There's 3 floodlights right on all the
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
lights
right
on his building.
I see.
There's 3 of them.
And you can
And then
see
one
the
all the way down.
string lights.
Oh, I see.
Very hazardous with throwing a ladder.
It's sketchy in my opinion. You know, the hallway, the stairway is pretty sketchy.
All right. You started the questions. This time we'll do this way. Ed,
Okay, so, you said that you know, you don't see, using this level here as the retail area, the commercial area, because one of the reasons that you mentioned is you now might change the facade of the bank building. Change the-
I don't think, without a substantial cost, I don't think it would be even possible to do that.
Why
You
is
would have
that?
to,
Why
you
is
would
that?
have to go in, you'd have to stabilize, you would have to put a beam in between.
Mhm.
But this is all structural, the entire wall is structural.
Okay,
You would have to put a beam in between in order to open up that whole facade. Basically give structure to the upper floor of it, support it on the sides. At that point, I'm sure we would have to put, support, posts into the ground, put them underneath the building, in order to support the weight that will come down onto the two support posts. It's gonna be a massive, cost in order to get that changed.
mhm. And that's the.
And,
gist
and
of
at
the
this
variance.
point, when we're looking at Main Street at this point, unfortunately, still there's about 70–80% is empty.
Yeah,
So it's not like there is a huge demand for it. If I had the demand for it, then I could justify an investment into this and say, we're gonna pour $200,000–300,000 into opening up this into storefront because I can get it back in rent. But that's not, I don't think we're quite there yet. I think the city's on the right track there.
you had mentioned that was one of the main reasons for the hardship because of the.
Because of yes, because of the uniqueness of this particular problem.
My question actually is for staff. We want to exceed the square footage of the commercial building for residential use. What is the ratio currently? And what are we going to exceed it by?
Well, currently there is no ratio.
We don't have a 50/50.
Well,
40/30.
as far as in the existing building, as far as the city was concerned, it was all commercial. However, somebody may have been using up rooms upstairs. Our understanding was there were some sort of offices for the commercial on the first floor. Now, whether people were living up there, I don't know. But there's no valid approvals on that property for residential use. There was a previous approval, which consisted of this building and the building next door for apartments on the second floor. They've been sold separately. It never happened. Those approvals have expired.
Okay,
So,
so we don't have an active variance on this
well,
building.
there's a variance for it, or there was an approval for it, but they've expired. And it was as a project to connect, had a connector between the second floor of this building and this building to connect the two together and put residential units here.
Okay,
Now they're both separately owned. They were transferred individual. It can't be done. And they've expired.
Variances never expire.
Right,
yeah,
But
that's
right.
this has been terminated
Terminated by,
because
by
the property has been
possession of-
right,
divided.
unless somebody wanted to buy both properties, then I
Okay.
could come back and make the argument.
I could see everybody's face like
Right.
expired.
Well,
Um,
the approvals, so there's a variance, but then there was subsequent approvals
Right.
for it.
well, conditional approval for the variance. And that was based on possession.
So the variance, but I believe there was also official approvals from the commission or the zoning officer. So there was
Once
the
ownership
variance, then there
separated.
was other approvals after it, but it never went forward.
Okay, and once ownership was separated from the
Correct.
two buildings, then that fell by the wayside. Okay, no, I think you missed my first question, which, going back to the Reed Hughes building that we gave a variance for the amount of commercial space.
Okay,
they wanted to utilize some of the downstairs commercial for residential.
Yep.
Uh,
okay,
so how much commercial and how much residential is allowed in a mixed use?
so you're not allowed to exceed, for residential use, you're not allowed to exceed the square footage of commercial use.
Oh, okay, so this building having 3 floors, 1.5 floors would have to be residential and the other 1.5 floors would have to be commercial.
So correct.
I see.
I'll read it exactly. See, where authorized mixed-use residential commercial use shall have the following additional requirements. No commercial building shall be constructed on a lot wherein there exists a building originally constructed or presently used for residential purposes. No building with a mixed-use residential and commercial use shall have residential uses allowed on or below the first floor, except that residential storage shall be permitted in a basement and or a cellar. No garage or filling station as prescribed in section 6.3 hereof shall be used for residential purposes. Each residential dwelling unit shall contain its own designated kitchen and bathing facilities. The square footage in residential uses shall not exceed the square footage in commercial uses. The square footage of any basement, cellar, attic, accessory use, or accessory building shall not be included in this calculation. There's no minimum number of dwelling units.
As long as you can fit them in.
Correct. Okay.
All right, that answered my question. Thank you.
Dottie.
Well, maybe they should go to the planning commission and see if it's cooking, see if
Well,
they can help them.
Dottie, we were on the board in '03 when this came through. You were supposed to ask for that. Because that was gonna be my question, to see which one of us did it.
I don't remember it, to be honest. Maybe
Okay,
it was
yeah.
something.
I was on the committee, we were both on.
We
at that
were
time.
on it, but I
Yeah.
had to put, I was thinking back.
Yeah, I hate it when it comes back to bite us. Dave,
Who else has to approve this? I got the building official and fire, does the city plan?
No,
No,
no. So if the variance is approved, it would be an administrative zoning permit. And then the building official, on the building permit. And the fire marshal, because fire marshal doesn't really have an approval, but he has a review of the code, which then goes to the building official.
got it. So he provides his comments to the building official and that,
Correct.
got it.
And the applicant too.
It's basically the architect will have to work with the fire marshal to make
Okay.
sure that their concerns are met. That, because fire marshal is something that, you know, when that's a no, that's a no, that's no.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you want. It's a no. It's
where to start? You were aware of these concerns. You don't have something. You don't really have anything solid to address these concerns yet.
No.
Okay.
And the reason, if I may, the reason why we have just the preliminary layout plans right now is because it is a very unique situation. This building in itself and Main Street and what the city wants to achieve on Main Street is a very unique situation. So for us to go ahead and hire an architect and spend $20,000-$30,000 in making up these plans and, bringing everybody to the table and saying, okay, how can we make this happen? And then coming here and you're, as a board, saying, that's not our vision, we don't want this. That's why I'm here today with just the preliminary. This is our idea, that's where we want to go. If you guys agree with this, that this is good for the city, now we're gonna invest the money into making the plans work. And as I said, if it doesn't work for fire, it will never happen. If it doesn't work for building, it cannot happen. So I am aware that there's challenges and there's extreme challenges that need to be overcome, but I think we can overcome them somehow. And if not, then,
What is your intended construction plan? How do you see this coming together? Are you gonna build the bar and get the bar up and going? You're gonna do the
No.
residential, you're gonna do it at the
everything
same
has to
time?
be, everything has to be done. I had that discussion with the zoning official and I think with the building official at the same time too.
Okay.
Everything has to be done at the same time. So in order for this, if you grant the variance, in order for the variance to kick in, it can only be in conjunction with everything being finished at the same time. So the bar has to be finished along with the residential. I cannot do residential and then wait on the bar.
Okay, so you would be okay with those conditions?
Yes,
It's all or
Absolutely.
nothing?
absolutely.
Okay.
That's what he's proposing in his application. Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
want it,
no, I understand.
want it out there. Obviously I have some serious safety concerns. So I'm not, I just want to get some of these answers out before I proceed on. All right. The 900 square feet, well, 1 or 2 bedroom is what you're thinking, or what's the?
2 bedroom.
I
I think on the plan, we have it as a 3-bedroom.
You do.
Yeah, I discussed that with it's gonna be a 2-bedroom, not a 3-bedroom.
Actually, be
Because the bedrooms are too
first and
small.
second.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
And that one of the bathrooms doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
Yeah, you saw that too.
Makes no sense.
It's not just me, right?
It's not just you.
Having a toilet next to your nightstand is probably not the design.
Yeah.
so.
Anyone else?
2 more quick questions. The spiral staircase you have shown here. So, where's that going? That's what I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say.
The idea was to take it to the roof.
And so then
But
you intend,
that's-
what you intend to do up in the roof?
Maybe put a deck up there
Mhm.
if that is possible. But that's, the spiral staircase is not one of the, and this might be one of those things that we actually might have to take out in order to comply with fire safety, because there needs to be somehow a ladder that goes down to the floor and then up to the roof.
In a very narrow aisle, very narrow.
Yeah, it's very narrow between the 2 buildings. There
So-
is stairs though, there's existing stairs.
yeah,
actually.
so- Just out of curiosity, again, not, but let's say you get everything done, and it's all good, and you get the bar going, you get the apartment going, and, you're not making any money in the bar. What happens then?
I'm good.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm retired. I run a motorcycle dealership right now and it's fun for me. We're running it in a very different way and I can do that because I'm retired. I do it for fun. And the bar would be the same. I do it for fun. I have a little bar in my dealership and this would be the expansion of that.
Employer?
That's my vision.
So you would move here full time?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Uh-huh. Well,
I need to get out of Florida.
okay.
I'll trade you my house here for your.
Come back in July and we'll talk.
I was just down there in August.
I've been there for 30 years, I can tell you this, it's, you know, every summer gets hotter. And,
Just too hot, right?
oh my God.
Yeah.
No,
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Again, gonna ask other people to speak and I'll give you an opportunity. Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor? Hearing none, any opposition? Any opposition? Any opposition? Hearing none, is there anything else you'd like to add? Once we close it, we can't take additional.
we're trying to make this, this building be part of Main Street and preserve what is there, preserve the character that is there. And at the same time have something that is usable. That's the idea behind this whole thing. And I think it's a good compromise, a good idea. I hope that, yeah, you're supporting it.
Does, before I ask for a motion to close, does anyone on the board have any interest in having him bring back any additional information or testimony or preliminaries or something from the fire marshal or building inspector to proceed, or is everybody comfortable? Because once we close it, we can't ask for it.
Well, I mean,
And I'm not trying to push you, I'm just,
I think that if we allow this, I think we need to put some,
Doesn't, I mean, to me, he's got the risk.
You could leave the public hearing open for 30 days to the next meeting, and if you wanted other information, he can bring it in.
so two things in my mind. I think if we allow it, we have to build in, it's allowed per, you know, you're clear with the fire marshal, you're clear with the construction guy, you're clear with everybody. It's either all or nothing. And the other thing I'm just curious about, we talked about the stairway. It being, I just discovered the city owns that. I mean, and you know, that's gonna be, I'm assuming, if that bar is popular, that's gonna be an area where a lot of patrons are walking up and down, going both ways, down to Water Street. It's in tough shape, right? Do you intend to try to clean it up at all?
Definitely. And I think the Peacock is a beautiful thing that just needs to get rebuilt. But the, you know, yes, the stairs and I think that actually somebody did some, I guess the city went out there and did something. So there were a couple of stairs that were broken, so they had already fixed some of it, but that Peacock needs to be redrawn. And I know it's not everybody's concern, but you know, I think it's a cute little thing that when you look from Water Street up there, that it's there.
I'll have to look for it.
It's one of the things when you pull up City of Norwich images, that Peacock actually pops up. But everything as far as fire, building, all their comments and concerns that they are raising, if those cannot be met, then it's not possible in the first place. So that basically wipes out everything that I'm planning to do.
just me personally, when I get, and it's no fault of yours, but when something gets presented 2 hours before a hearing that's listing basically safety concerns, I really feel it would be a mistake for us to act without asking for more questions. You know, both of our code officials are submitting a concern that for us to just say, they'll figure it out. I personally can't support that, you know, and I'm not trying to sway anybody, but I can understand the applicant's concern on not wanting to spend $50,000-$60,000 for an architect, but I would like a little more, maybe ask staff to reach out to these two officials and say, hey, you've listed these concerns. Is it feasible? Could they do something structural and maintain the integrity of the face of the building at some point through their experience? My thoughts on a subterranean bar on a set of stairs that you pointed out falling down, a fire marshal saying, we don't know if we can get ladders to a building. I can't sit here and vote for that tonight without a little more reassurance that this can be done. And I don't want to vote on something saying, hey, if they figure it out, we'll build it. If they don't, they won't. Well, I'd like somebody to say, I think they can build it. And it could be very expensive, but it can be done. As opposed to, there was too many things in here that just scared me immediately. And I'm not trying to sway anybody, but what I'm asking is not to close it. Ask for some more information, continue this thing for another month, and vote with a little more educated opinion.
Then will we be able to get the information to us within
We can
a
certainly
couple of
try.
months?
Well, I mean, we have to close the public hearing at the next meeting anyhow,
Okay.
statutorily.
So we can table this, huh?
Excuse me,
We can table this.
could be continued, yeah.
Just continue it,
Um,
pending additional information.
I
I
think
can-
you're right.
I can tell you on the front facade of the building, I think he faces some challenges, not just the structural that he pointed out, but I think he faces some challenges even considering changing the facade drastically.
I agree with that.
Because it's a contributing building to the downtown historic district.
Anything,
Is it in fact in the historic district?
It's a contributing building to the downtown. So it's on the National Historic,
Okay,
but it's a contributing building to the downtown district,
Okay.
which we don't manage from the perspective of some of our other districts where the commission,
Right.
the Historic District Commission oversees it, but because it's a contributing building, the National Registry takes precedence in if the facades or buildings are changed, it could jeopardize the national district.
okay.
There'd probably have to be a lot of.
That's as good a reason as any, is for not doing it.
changing the facade is gonna just change the unique look of it.
Right.
And I don't wanna say an architect can't come up with something better, but it's definitely gonna look different and it won't be the
Yeah, I mean,
same
but-
historic.
What got me was you'd mentioned that changing the windows would cost a huge amount of money, and I'm sitting here thinking, really? And
It's, to me, it's the architect
Yeah.
value of that is uniqueness.
It's
of
unique,
that.
no question about it.
Right.
Uniqueness of that.
So I agree that leaving it alone is the best thing, yes, or if for no other reason.
I just, it's a pretty unique building. It's a cool looking building and I'm not opposed to the idea, but I can't just move forward hearing the first two reports that were read. I'm sorry, I can't support it tonight.
I think tabling is a good idea, but I think if it's possible for, when we do this, if you could somehow get these guys to say, it's gonna cost X dollars.
Oh, they can't do that.
No.
Yeah, they wouldn't give,
can't-
they wouldn't give a number,
No,
but
they
I mean, I'm sure reaching out to them, there will be some form of them at least saying there's ways how to get around that. It
Yeah.
might be more costly, it might be not the traditional way
And I think,
or not, but that's between, again,
Yeah.
I will do that with the architect and have them reach out to.
I think it would serve all us well if independently, not collectively, because then we'd be reaching something. We all took a ride by, took a walk down those stairs, took a look at the building and kind of look at it a little closer. I know the building, I've walked it, never been inside, but familiar with the area and familiar with the concerns that they're listing.
Yeah, I did take a walk over by it. Now, underneath the level where the bar is that you're proposing, there's another level below that, isn't
No.
there? The far back?
No.
No?
Bedrock.
Yeah.
Bedrock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough area. That's all ledge rock in there. It's just an amazing feat of engineering that they actually built all that in the first place on top of what.
In the 1800s.
Yeah.
When the original buildings.
So,
So I'm gonna make a motion, we continue this, but with the request from staff to reach out to building official Coley and Fire Marshal Gilad to explain their concerns a little more in depth, and will afford the opportunity to the applicant to have the findings and explain it. And I think I've expressed what my concerns are,
Absolutely.
and let you come back with additional information.
I'll second that.
And I'll do that. Tomorrow I'm in a training all day, but I'll try to do it tomorrow. So that they have time to respond back to me so that I can give him their response.
Great.
I don't wanna, the building officials' comments. He was on vacation, I was on vacation, I'd asked a couple weeks ago for this, and we kind of rushed the application at the last minute to get everything through. So that's why his comments didn't come through until 4 o'clock this afternoon.
That makes sense.
And unfortunately, next week, for your next meeting, I won't be able to come here in person. I would be joining you on Zoom, if that's fine with you.
Fine, I was fine. I've zoomed half of
At
them this
least
year.
This way I had an
with
opportunity to
Dottie.
meet you.
So I have a motion made and seconded to continue.
Yep.
With a request for additional information.
Bob Phoenix, aye.
And Rebecca.
Mark Benjamin, aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Meeting has been
Thank you.
continued until next month, pending further information.
And that'll be, April 8th.
All right. V 25-239, that was the last one, correct, Rich?
The first one was 30.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
that was the last one. 25-239 Mohegan Park Road, request relief from zoning regulation 1.1 to reduce front yard setback from 30 feet to 20 feet. The construction of the 20 by 33 two-story garage addition. Request relief from zoning regulation 6.7.7 to increase from 30 feet for the principal dwelling of 41.7% to allow for a 588 square foot accessory apartment where 408.6 square feet is allowed. Property of Anita Andrews, application of Anita Andrews. Census map 86, block 1, lot 52, R20 zone.
Motion to approve?
I'll second. Hardship found?
Okay, I find, listening to the testimony, I found the hardship to be the existing setbacks, create a non-conformance of the property in general anyway, and a, non-conformance of the proposed building, which, the siting of is also hampered by, existing features on the property. In support of that, in looking at the actually Google Street View as opposed to the plan, it does not appear that the mass of the proposed building would be such that it would be an eyesore or stand out from the existing building, and would be pretty much in keeping with the character of the neighborhood.
You seconded that?
Yep, I'm gonna state that in addition to the house location hardship, it's also the size, relatively small size of the house. If they added on to the house, then they'd be allowed to have a larger secondary house, if you will. So they're less than the maximum of 900, as I understand it. And so ironically, if they would build a larger house, then they'd be allowed this, a larger
Accessory.
accessory. And obviously, the stuff that Bob mentioned, the existing location of the house, non-conforming, and the existing pool.
Dottie? Yeah,
I want to understand the reason for what you're,
So they built, if they increase the square footage of the house,
The existing house.
of the existing house,
Right.
then they would be allowed a larger accessory up to 900 square feet.
But that's dramatically different than what she's thinking right
I'm
Well, no,
Just-
I got it. I think what Dave is alluding to is that, the zoning requirements only allow for a certain percentage above and beyond the
the
existing house.
existing house.
Okay.
And this exceeds that.
Yes.
We need to allow for a variance for that,
Right.
primarily because of the diminutive size of the existing house.
Okay.
It's only 900 square feet, which only allows for 30% of that, is that right?
30%, yeah.
Yeah, which, 30% is another 300 square feet. You can't even put a car in a 300 square feet foot garage. So even if you made it, 2 foot, 2 stories, it still wouldn't work. So that's why we're also looking at the 41.7% allowance.
Oh, okay, you're just covering the other part.
Yes, I was
Yeah,
covering the
okay.
second part. I was covering the second part of the variance.
Okay, now,
Because he didn't
yeah,
I didn't include that.
explicitly,
Yeah, I
he didn't
apologize. Yeah.
explicitly state that.
got it, okay.
All right, that's the, yeah,
Yep, okay.
because if it was a larger house,
Yes.
you allowed a larger percentage.
Right.
So ironically, the small size is somewhat of a hardship. It is the hardship in that regard.
Right. Okay.
I think the confusion was Ed thought you were opposing it
Oh.
because of the house. was so
No, no.
Well, no, actually, I didn't think you were opposing it. I thought you were thinking of like a whole different concept.
No, no,
Yeah, making it.
Okay. Yeah,
no, I'm not changing the concept. I was just,
okay,
if it was a large house, we wouldn't have to ask the variance for that.
right, got it, okay. Okay, so,
But they wouldn't have
then
to
I'm,
ask
then I'm
for
good.
Rowdy, you good?
I'm all set.
You understand the motion in the second, and the explanation?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor of grant?
Bob Phoenix, aye.
Dottie, I.
Aye.
Hey, Rebecca.
Mark Benjamin. Motion passed. B 25-3, 495, 499, 499 East Main Street, request for relief from zoning regulation 6.4, 6.1 to reduce the required landscape buffer of multifamily development from 15 feet to 0 feet on the east and west boundaries. Excuse me. 2, request relief from zoning regulation 6.4.1 to reduce the minimum distance between buildings from 30 feet to 6 feet. Relief from section 4.8.5 to allow structural alterations to a non-conforming building to exceed 50% of its assessed value. Properties of Southeastern Properties LLP, application of Mount Longo, Assessors Map 103, Block 4, lots 33 and 34, multifamily zone.
Motion to approve. Bob Phoenix,
I'll second.
Bob, on your motion, you just want to list the hardship?
well, okay, I was gonna do that.
Okay.
Just, yeah, the reason I lean towards approving this is because the hardship being that the existing buildings that are on the site are of commercial nature. And the applicant is proposing multifamily, which in the zone is allowed, however, because there are commercial buildings on the existing commercial buildings on the site, the applicant needs to find a way of putting, how can I put this? Needs to find the proper way of putting the use of the property back to what it's originally zoned for. And this application will allow for that, as well as reduce the required setback between buildings of 30 feet to the 6 foot that's indicated on the plans.
Good with all that there? Second.
Yes, yes.
It took me a minute to get my head around it.
Ed?
Yeah, I'm good. you still need to have to go to the city planner, I guess, right? Or-
Correct.
Yeah, so as long as that happens, yeah, the first step.
Dottie,
Almost.
Dave? It's, he's not increasing the footprint or of the building, well, he's increasing the footprint, but it's already been granted for that variance, so it's hard to, it's a little hard for me to wrap my head around all what is going on in the sense of going from commercial use to the zoned, zoned use. So in that regards, I guess we'll actually be, in some regards, decreasing the non-conformance. At least going from commercial to the multi-use, well, that will be multifamily, sorry,
Right.
multifamily, will be eliminating that non-conformance, but in that act creates other non-conformances
With the building setback.
with the building
Well,
setbacks
separations, I'm sorry.
that would be otherwise allowed if we continued with commercial. So.
Yeah.
Following on Dave's thought.
If you can
No,
say that
I
better.
don't know if I can. In an attempt to limit the non-conforming and return this to its original intended zone of multifamily, this will be an improvement. That being said, I would never support setbacks falling down to 0 and buildings as close. But the buildings are there, we're not expanding them. And I do not typically support taking commercial properties off a commercial tax roll in this environment and bringing it to residential. But, 7 one-bedroom apartments and only two family, 2-bedroom are a lot better than 2 vacant buildings. That are, that there will be value to the neighborhood, it will restore the neighbor, the house, there's houses to the left, there's a house operating as something else to the right, there's houses behind it, is residential. And it's multifamily residential, and this will be an improvement.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's, right now, it's just not being utilized in any way at all.
Right. So it'll be an improvement for the neighborhood, so I will be supporting it. All those in favor, Grant?
Bob Phoenix, aye.
Dottie, aye.
Dave, aye.
Ed Everback, aye.
Mark, unanimous, motion passes. 25-4 is we're going to continue till next month. Anything else?
That's
Any
it.
updates?
All right.
Oh, you want to make a clarification on that? Thank you, everybody.
So-
Appreciate it.
So on the approved applications, I gotta prepare a notice to the newspaper. That's gotta be published. The decision has to be published in the newspaper. We'll try to get it published by Friday. There's an appeal period of 15 days. In that time, I'll also be sending you a letter and the document that needs to be filed in the city clerk's office. So when you receive that document, it'll have a do not file on before date right at the bottom of it. You would file that document in the clerk's office, bring me a copy, and then I can issue the zoning permits for, well, I can issue your zoning permit for the garage addition. Mr. Longo, I can't issue his zoning permit until he goes to the commission.
Step 1, we got it.
Okay,
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
and I will
Rich, thank you for your
put
help.
everything together and send it to you, call you.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
You're gonna reach out to both by and.
Yes,
If they need anything from the architect from my side, just let me know.
yeah, I'll talk to the two of them and, okay, thank you.
Okay, for
Thank
staff
you.
updates.
Are we off the record?
No, thank you.
Oh,
You gotta finish.
For staff updates, we did get a clarification that the requirement for renewal of our certification or whatever. or certificate-
CEU hours. whatever
Yeah,
it is.
CU hours is 4 years instead of 2. So we all should be good, I think. Got mine in 2004, so So, we're good on that.
Better than. Not 2004.
Two thousand twenty-four.
Yeah.
I always forget
You're not
that
good.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor of adjourn?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Meeting adjourned 8:42.